Welcome to Extension Connection on Super Talk 1270. Thoughtful information and discussion with experts from both Burleigh and Morton County Extension Service offices. Extension Connection provides advice on family nutrition, issues in agriculture, lawn and garden, community leadership, homeowner concerns, and so much more. Live from the Super Talk 1270 studio, this is Extension Connection.
Good morning and welcome to the Extension Connection. This is the NDSU Extension Office folks from Morton County this morning, and I'm Vanessa Hoynes, Family Consumer Science Agent. And I know we were just here last week getting a chance to visit with you, and we came last week because we wanted to talk about the Morton County Fair and invite everybody to attend. And now we're here to say we survived, and we had a wonderful fair. Hopefully listeners out there had an opportunity to come and partake and take in all the wonderful entertainment and the animals and all those good things that come with that good old time hometown kind of county fair feel. But of course, with the fair, I always feel like once the fair is done, then it's kind of like now we're on a downward spiral into school and fall and football and all those things coming up. So that made me think about some of those types of programs that we might have available this fall. And so I'm going to talk about a few of those programs that we have available coming up. And then also maybe some tips to think about for all of us, but then maybe even kids if we're sending them off to school, if we're wanting to send them with a smart snack, what are some things we might want to consider? But let's get started with some of the upcoming programs I have for this fall. The first one is called Stepping On, and this is a falls prevention class. It's a series of classes. We meet once a week for 7 weeks, and it really focuses on, unfortunately, how common falls are. And even though it's something that happens to a lot of us, unfortunately, what can happen is that if you do fall, then the threat of falling can really be a barrier to you safely doing all the other things you want to do. And so sometimes that may even prevent you from interacting with the community or going to activities that would be enjoyable for you, and then can even lead to some isolation. And so it's important to make sure that we can maintain that confidence and help reduce the risk of having a fall. Unfortunately, some statistics related to falls, more than 1/3 of people age 65 and older fall each year. And, I too bad the statistics talk about just somebody who's 65 or older, because all of us fall. We're all at risk of falling. Falls are the leading cause of injury and hospitalization and even death for among older adults. And then 35% of people who fall become less active after that. And so that's something we also want to curtail, that particular statistic. And then a really unfortunate statistic is that 40% of people who enter a nursing home have had a fall in the prior 30 days. And I think that's something all of us have probably witnessed with someone that we know. After a fall, sometimes it becomes very difficult to bounce back and maintain that independence in their own home like they would like to. And so if this is something that you think might be a benefit to somebody that you know or yourself, feel free to give me a call at 667-3340. The classes are going to be led by myself and Chandra Zeman-Belinsky, the NDSU Extension Agent in Burleigh County. And we are also going to be working in tandem with physical therapist students from the University of Mary. So it's going to be a lot of fun having those young individuals helping us out, learning some balance and strength training kinds of easy exercises that we can learn to do every day. And then we'll also be bringing in some guest speakers to talk to us about some things related to falls, whether it's an optometrist talking to us about our vision and what an important role vision plays in preventing falls. We'll also be having a pharmacist come and visit with us about medications and how medications can play a role in falls sometimes, and what we need to be aware of when it comes to the medications that we are taking, when we're taking them, and what questions we need to ask when we have a new medication that's added to our daily regime. We'll also be talking about safety in the community and having some experts come and visit with us about that so that we can maintain our safety as we move about the community, attending the things that we would like to attend. And so these classes are going to be held on Thursdays beginning September 29th from 1 to 3. Consecutively every Thursday for 7 weeks. And if you are interested in this, the cost is $20, which really covers the cost of the weight, because you will receive an ankle weight that you will use as part of the exercise piece. And so if you're interested or have more questions, please give me a call at 667-3340. And I would love to visit with you about that. Okay. The next program I wanted to share a little bit about that will also be happening this fall is Powerful Tools for Caregivers. And this is again, a series of classes really focusing on anyone who is in a caregiver role. And when you think about it, whether you provide care for a loved one at home or in a care facility, or whether it's somebody you care for that's down the block or even miles away, this is a really important role. And this course is for a family caregiver like yourself. Sometimes we don't think about maybe we're giving transportation to somebody or housekeeping, or we're helping them with their grocery shopping or personal care. All those types of things are pieces of that caregiving role. And sometimes caregiving can become very stressful. We forget that, we grow up being cared for by our parents, and we know what being a caregiver means. And sometimes those caregiver roles, as we're caring for somebody who is perhaps in a chronic illness, we don't recognize right away that we've stepped into a role that doesn't have an end at the light of, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Many times when we care for somebody who is ill, if it's more of an acute kind of illness, a flu or something like that, they get better, and then you can be relieved from some of those caregiving role issues. But when we're talking about a chronic illness, many times the caregiving just gets, instead of being relieved, it gets more difficult and more difficult as time goes on, and we kind of lose track of being able to take a step away and take a break for ourselves, and we forget about our own health. And so this is a series that can help you reduce your stress, help to balance some of your life, practice some better communication skills in being able to communicate with your family, and then also increase your ability to make some of those tough decisions that you might have to make as time moves on. And so if you're interested in the Caregiver Series, that's going to be held on Tuesdays this fall, beginning October 25th. And so you can also give me a call if you are interested in that. Again, at 667-334-3340. Okay. And then in our last few minutes here before we take a break, I have some tips about smart snacking. One of the things that a lot of times when we go to the cupboard, or if we're in the grocery store and we're trying to find a snack that would be easy for whether it's kids or ourselves to grab, many times we're going down that aisle of the cereal aisle, and cereals can be a good choice. Many times in that aisle we'll also find things like granola bars or snack bars. And so what are some ways we can make some good choices when it comes to that snack bar, because there are oodles of them to choose from. One really important tip to keep in mind is that the ingredients on that box are listed in order of which one's most to the least. And so looking for those that have whole grains, dried fruits, nuts, those kinds of things would be important. Looking for a bar that's less than 200 calories, has 6 or more grams of protein, and then at least 2 grams of fiber would be some tips to keep in mind as you're looking at those labels. And so with that, we are going to be taking a break, and Jackie and Carla will be joining me to share some of the other things that are going on with the Extension Office in just a few minutes.
Good morning and welcome back to the Extension Connection. It's Jackie Buckley and Carla Mickle that are here this morning. Vanessa actually taped her program, which I don't remember if she said in her opening segment, but she is not here today. She had a conflict, and so it's Carla and I, and Liz is on vacation, and so we're going to try and we're going to highlight some of the things that happened at the Morton County Fair, which Vanessa briefly mentioned. And we have lots of things going on. And Carla, what else are you going to talk about?
I have a Clover Classic sporting clay shoot here being held next week on Thursday, August 18th. We'll visit about some happenings across North Dakota. To finish out our 4-H year, if you can believe it. 4-H is kind of wrapping up, and we'll be starting again here September 1st. And kind of highlighting the 4-H program in Morton County. And if you're interested, encouraging all to visit with either Jackie, myself, or Vanessa. And that's pretty much what I have for the morning.
Okay. Well, thank you, Carla. I guess I'd like to remind everybody that it is National Farmers Market Week. And Secretary of Agriculture Tom Vilsack has signed a proclamation naming this August 7th through the 13th as National Farmers Market Week. And it's the 17th annual event to honor and celebrate the important role that farmers markets play in a local economy. Farmers markets are an important part of strong and local regional food systems that connect farmers with new customers and grow rural economies. In many areas, they are expanding access to fresh, healthy food for people of all income levels, says Secretary Vilsack. National Farmers Week recognizes the growth of these markets and their role in supporting both the urban and the rural economies. Throughout the week, the USDA officials will celebrate at farmers market locations across the country. On August 6th, Administrator Eleanor Starmer, she's a minister of the Agricultural Marketing Service, which conducts research, provides technical assistance, and grants to support. We'll kick off the week by visiting a farmer's market and wrap up the week at USDA's own farmer's market in Washington, D.C. on August 12th. Farmers markets are a gathering place, where you can buy locally produced food and at the same time get to know the farmer and the story behind the food you purchase. These types of markets improve earning potential for farmers and ranchers, building stronger community ties and access to local foods. And so if you're listening this morning, I'd like to remind you that North Dakota is celebrating National Farmers Market Week by having a Farmers Market Day at the Capitol. And I'm sure that it's up there right below the large Capitol steps and in the green space. And melons, cucumbers, beef, garlic, honey, tomatoes, pork, sweet corn, lettuce, jams and jellies, baked goods, and more will be on sale today at the 12th Annual North Dakota Farmers Market Day at the Capitol. There's no better way to celebrate National Farmers Market Week, according to Agricultural Commissioner Doug Goring. They're going to have 20 vendors from across the state participate in the market, which runs from 9 a.m. to 1:30 at the top of the Capitol Loop on the South Lawn. Also, if you have time to stop there for lunch, Morning Joy Farm and Kitchen and Fire Flower Pizza will sell lunches featuring locally produced foods from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then free ice cream will be served from 12:30 to 1:30. It's a free public event sponsored by the North Dakota Department of Ag and the Council of State Employees and the North Dakota Farmers Market and Growers Association as part of a nationwide week-long celebration of Farmers Market. And so if you're interested, please stop by the South Lawn of the Capitol and buy some fresh vegetables for supper tonight. I think that sounds like a great idea.
It does.
It does. Also, just to remind you that we're kind of wrapping up the registration process for the 2016 North Dakota Range Management School. We still do have a few openings. This event will be held August 30th through September 1st at the North Dakota 4-H camp in Washburn. This year's school will focus on the principles of grazing management and how to integrate them into your livestock operation. The school will include ranch tours and presentations from local livestock producers. Participants will receive a range inventory and monitoring kit. Credits are also offered to NDSU and Dickinson State University students. The early bird registration, of course, is come and gone. That was August 1st. But if you're still interested in attending, the standard rate is $200 per operation and $100 for each additional person. There's a student rate of it's $100 for the student rate. Registration also includes all of your meals and lodging, and we're staying at the newly remodeled and newly built North Dakota 4-H camp, which is located about a mile west of the North Dakota Interpretive Center, which is located in Washburn. The event is sponsored by Audubon Dakota, North Dakota Stockmen's Association, Chesapeake Seas House, North Dakota Grazing Lands Coalition, and the Society for Range Management. And in addition, the NDSU Extension Service and the United States Department of Agriculture is also sponsoring this event. If you're interested, feel free to call your local county extension agent and get your information into them and get registered as soon as possible, because we're making plans for the meals and our boarding facility, and to see where we're at with rooms and rooms needed.
Jackie, would this be beneficial for folks who might be working within their counties on a range judging team?
It's more for adults, Carla.
Okay. Yep.
But there's parts of it that would be, but it's more for adults and ranchers who want to develop a range management plan and a grazing plan on their farm and ranch. Okay. Well, thank you for your question. Another thing that I'd like to remind you of is that the Cover Crops Workshop, there's 2 of them scheduled. One is next week, August 18th, from 1:30 to 3 p.m., and that will be held at the Dickinson Research Extension Center. And the introduction and current cover crop work in the region will be discussed by Ryan Buto. He's the NDSU Extension Specialist in Cropping Systems at the Dickinson Research Extension Center. And he starts at 1:30. And at 2 o'clock, there will be benefits of cover crops and an insight into current projects. And Marcel Berti, he's the NDSU professor for forage and biomass crop production, will be presenting as well. And those times, it's 1:30 Mountain Time. Remember that Mountain Time on the for the Dickinson event. Then the next day, August 19th, there will be another cover crop workshop, and that'll be held at the Central Grasslands Research Extension Center, which is located 6 miles northwest of Streeter. And that one will also be held from 1 to 3 p.m. Introduction with Farrah Brummer. And then Marcel Berti, NDSU professor, will talk about the benefits of cover crops, and then grazing applications of cover crops and current projects, and cover crop interseeded into corn, dwarf sorghum variety plots in the field will be discussed by Farrah Brummer, NDSU Extension Livestock Specialist at the Central Grasslands Research Extension Center in Streeter. And so once again, August 19th at Streeter, and in Dickinson, August 18th. And Jim is giving us the cue, that it's time for a break, and we will be back with the Extension Connection after the break.
Right now, 66.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. Super Talk 1270.
Good morning, and once again, welcome back to the Extension Connection. It's the Carla and Jackie show today. And Carla, do you want to talk about some 4-H things?
Yep, just a couple of things here I have for 4-H, and then we can visit a little bit about the county fair.
Sure.
Let's see, the Clover Classic shoot we have coming up. It is a Sporting Clays event, and it's an event that actually helps fund 4-H projects throughout North Dakota. It's put on by the North Dakota 4-H Foundation, and they provide private financial support for the development and implementation of 4-H programs in North Dakota. for related 4-H activities of the NDSU Extension Service. So any of the additional activities such as livestock judging, consumer choices, communication arts, they help with Extension Youth Conference in Fargo. And I could really go on and on about all the programs that the 4-H Foundation sponsors, but that would be a very long radio show. But in 2015, over 31,000 young people in North Dakota participated in 4-H related activities, and this included 5,500 4-H members in nearly 475 clubs. So not only does the foundation look to assist with financial support of the 4-H program, but youth across North Dakota who are involved in 4-H programs. And we welcome youth to participate in events that are not 4-H members to have that experience and get out and meet adults and different youth that they can network with. There are more than 100 programs and activities available across the state that are associated with 4-H. These programs are all coordinated by extension specialists and staff and by more than 2,765 adult volunteers and leaders. And so this again is going to be held on August 18th out at Capital City Sporting Clays. We have registration that starts at 2 o'clock. Shotguns start at 2:30, and we're going to have dinner and some door prizes at 5, and we're actually going to barbecue. We're going to have some hamburgers and some brats and things, so it'll be a nice, really comfortable setting. You can visit with 4-H ambassadors regarding the 4-H program, as well as some 4-H extension staff. And again, if you're interested, please give me a call at 667-3340, and this is Thursday, August 18th, which is creeping up on us really fast, and it's out at Capital City Sporting Clays here in Bismarck. Some other events that we have here coming up. We're kind of wrapping up the 4-H year, as I talked about before. Jackie was talking about range judging camp, and we're having a range judging event coming up September 16th. The location is to be determined. They're still working on a few things, and they'll be having that. And then there's an Air Force Youth Adventure Retreat in Daisy, North Dakota, and that is on September 30th. And coming up this weekend, we have the state shotgun contest. That'll be held on Saturday, August 13th. We start out at Capital City Gun Club north of Bismarck, and then in the afternoon we will be going out to Capital City Sporting Clays to do some skeet shooting and some sporting clays shooting. And we have approximately 54 kids right now signed up for that event. There could be a few more additions. We're down a little bit in numbers, but absolutely fun time for kids to get involved with other youth across North Dakota and sharing some of the things that they love to do, and that is shooting a little bit of shotgun in a safe environment with some adults assisting them. So that again is this coming weekend, August 13th. With that, we talked about the 4-H year wrapping up, and really the highlight of our 4-H year was this past weekend. We had Morton County 4-H Achievement Days, coinciding with the Morton County Fair, of course, and we had kids everywhere. It was so much fun.
Yes.
So,
and some of those kids we only see once a year, which is, kind of sad, but it was great to see them all.
Yeah. And, from the Monday before the fair started, so August 1st, when we had cleanup, and we had an overwhelming response of kids to come out and help with that, and parents bringing their kids out to help set up and clean and get things ready, like the panels in the horse barn and the arena. And just really neat to see the kids all the way through Sunday afternoon when we had release of exhibits at 3 o'clock on Sunday and kind of wrapped up the fair. But it was just really neat, and the kids were so fun. For me, probably the best 4-H achievement days we've ever had, and everyone was just great to work with. So nice kind of accumulation of all the hard work of the kids put in for the 4-H year.
Yep, and it was, our weather was really cooperated well for us. It was a little hot on Wednesday night for the speed events, for the horse show. But, the rest of the week it was in the low 80s, and that's just perfect weather, I would say. It wasn't too windy. Sure, we would have liked a shower or two to bring in some more farmers, but we know that they were busy combining. So I think our attendance might have been down just a touch during the day. Yeah. But, boy, they made up for it at night.
Yes. On Saturday night, we were we looked out and there was traffic backed up all the way to the interstate, all the way into the fairgrounds. And one of our fair board members went up and we made a brand new gate. And so when we were parking folks all the way up the hill to New Salem Sioux.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of people. It was fun to see. A lot of people had never been to the fair before, which was really fun. And them just getting an idea of really what it's all about. You know, they didn't realize you pay one fee at the gate and you get to take in the power pole and the rodeo and all of the entertainment that goes on. It really only costs you what you eat and what you drink.
You know, and I really noticed that too, Carla, because there was a lot of people that on Saturday night that I didn't know that were at the dance.
Yeah.
You know, and so we've got a lot of people coming that are not from New Salem too as well.
Yeah, it's really great. And, you know, the economic impact it makes on the community. And everyone was so friendly, even though they had to park quite a distance and then walk into the fairgrounds. I mean, it was fun and everyone was in a very good mood. And I don't know, it was just a very enjoyable fair this year. I had a good time. So, but again, you know, we had 4-H projects and the kids worked really hard on those. And to kind of wraps up our year, they had 4-H achievement days. They were awarded ribbons. And here, the end of August, we wrap up the 2015-2016 4-H year, and we dive into more enrollment. Everyone is encouraged to re-enroll starting September 1st for the new 4-H year. And I've been working on getting things scheduled out for next year already with consumer choices events and communication arts and fashion review and everything, getting stuff on the calendar so we can get that to some of the new folks who have actually expressed interest in the 4-H program in Morton County. So we're excited to bring some more folks here on board. And really 4-H, again, 6.5 million members across the United States that range in age from age 5 through 21, because we have some 4-H ambassadors, so it really oversees that whole age range of 5 to 21. In the United States, there's approximately 90,000 clubs. The goal of 4-H is to develop citizenship, leadership, responsibility, and life skills of youth through experiential learning programs and a positive youth development approach. And 4-H is the largest and only research-based youth organization in the state. North Dakota officially begins with registration for re-enrollment and enrolling in 4-H September 1st. And it's not too early, though, you know, with it being the middle of August, we'll call it, to visit with your local clubs or your county extension office so we can help you get into a club that really fits what you're interested in. We have some clubs in Morton County that I would say are probably a higher level of enrollment who are interested in livestock. We've got clubs interested in horse. And then we've got those clubs that are interested in those basic projects that you learn about, whether it be woodworking or sewing and photography, a little bit of everything. So really we can help fit you to a club that you would be most interested in. The 4-H idea is simple: help young people and their families gain the skills needed to be proactive forces in their communities and develop ideas for a more innovative economy. Most times, this experience comes from outside a classroom setting, making the experience one that youth can be active participants. There are more opportunities to become involved in 4-H in your community. And again, I just encourage you to contact your local county extension office. And that phone number here for Morton County is 701-667-3340. And it's for ages, you have to be 5 years old as of September 1st and not have aged out, which the age for like competitive events and different activities is through age 18. So you can't turn 19 before September 1st. So when Jackie has some kids who are going off to college who are going to still actively participate in 4-H here this fall, because she's taking 5 youth? Five. Okay, to the National Livestock Judging event, and that is going to be held in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm here coming up in October. And November.
Excuse
okay.
me, Carla.
No,
November.
that's okay. She's got all kinds of trips planned. So she's going to Exarban with the kids. And, of course, in October then, she's taking FFA youth to Indianapolis.
Yes.
Yep. So she's going to be traveling all around with the state-winning livestock judging team. So very exciting for them. So, but anything else to add about the fair?
Oh, I guess, the horse show went really well. I think the kids had a really a nice time. It was a nice day for that event as well. And even though we didn't have the barrel racing event on Saturday, I think everybody enjoyed showing their horses in the arena instead of out by the barn. And also they we had some new exhibitors because of that. I know that Bill Cook and Jeanette decided that they would come this year since we weren't showing up by the barn, and so that's a good thing. We had kids from all over the state in the open class event, Jamestown, Wheatland.
Wheatland, that's way over by Fargo.
Yes,
That's
way over by
nice
Fargo.
hall.
Yes, and then we had Beulah, Zap area. We had exhibitors, and we had some from Dickinson, South Hart, and so the Morton County Fair draws a lot of kids from a lot of different areas, and actually the barns were all full.
Good.
So there was only a couple empty pens in the swine barn, and the sheep and goat barn was completely full, and our goat numbers are busting at the seams at the fair, and so we had a lot of goats, and of course the beef barn was pretty full as well, with open class exhibitors and 4-H exhibitors. So it was a lot of fun. I think as far as what we've heard, everybody really enjoyed Blind Joe on Saturday.
Good. Did you get to take him in
No,
at all?
I didn't get to.
Yeah.
I was kind of stuck in the pig barn.
Gotcha. No, he was really good. So well worth if you were there at 2:00 in the afternoon, a little different time for more of a headliner, but well worth it. He was very, very good.
Yep.
So
Okay, and so Jim is cueing us. You can hear the music in the background that we need to go for a break, and so we'll be back with the Extension Connection in just a few minutes.
Right now, 72.
The Red River Farm Network. Ag News is here on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back to the Extension Connection. We're just kind of giggling about something back here in the studio. And Carla, you have a couple events that are coming up that you maybe would want to mention before we wrap up our program.
Yep, this is the Center for Community Vitality, actually, Glenn Muskie, sent out an email about some upcoming educational events here. One of them is tomorrow. It's the Tribal Foods Conference. It will be held out at United Tribes Technical College. And for additional information, you can contact Jana Miller at Jana Milner, Millner, so jmilner at uttc.edu. The other event I have, great educational opportunity coming up, is the NDSU Horticulture Field Day. That is going to be held August 17th out in Absaraka, North Dakota from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. If you'd like better directions than just Absaraka, North Dakota, you can call our office and we can share those with you. There's some routes that you can take if you're coming from the north or the east or the west, and we can certainly share that with you. There's some Field to Fork extended webinars coming up. There was a set earlier here this year, but there's some more coming out, and we can talk about those here coming up. But in case you missed it, please know that there'll be some additional ones coming up. It looks like the next one is Wednesday, August 17th, and we have a link for that one as well. We can share that with you. It's kind of long. Maybe I can put on Facebook here later today so folks can take a look. Another event is September 13th, Prairie Family Business North Dakota Forum. This will actually be held over at Concordia College in Moorhead, and Carolyn Thompson, founder of Thompson Law, will share expertise and stories related to estate planning and business succession. Carolyn has a niche working with agriculture families and businesses. She'll have relevant and valuable information for business leaders who also may have land assets in their family. Even if agriculture is not their primary line of work, she'll talk about how to structure assets if some family members have emotional and legacy value with the land, and other family members simply want to check and walk away from the land. So she will be visiting about that, and that again will be September 13th, and it's quite a distance, I understand, out in Concordia College in Moorhead, but it looks like a pretty good speaker with some valuable information. So that is from the Center for Community Vitality, another extension of the Extension Service. So.
Okay, thank you, Carla.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll just kind of expand. You mentioned the Field to Fork. Mm-hmm. And actually, that does start next week, Wednesday, and that's over the internet. It's over
webinar.
Over the internet, as far as doing over the Blackboard, and also if you are not able to participate during the time, I'm sure that they will all be archived, and you'll be able to reach them at another time. But they're from 2 to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And on August 17th, it's going to be about extending the growing season and putting the garden to bed. August 24th, the following week, They'll talk about sauerkraut and beyond, food fermentation 101, and Cliff Hall, professor of plant sciences, and Julie Garden Robinson will talk about sauerkraut. August 31st, the joy of fall bulb planting, garlics, and tulips with Todd Weinman, who is at the Cass County Extension Office. And then Esther McGinnis is going to talk about growing microgreens in your home on September 14th. And so those are a series of webinars from 2 to 3 p.m. for the following next 4 Wednesdays. And it's at 2 to 3 p.m. And so if you're interested in that, give us a call and we can for sure get you the link where you can get signed up for that. It would be best, of course, that you had high-speed internet in order to get those webinars, because of the dial-up probably won't work real well. But if you don't have high speed, your sure would be welcome. We have a computer that you would be able to use in the office if you would like to come and listen. That would be fine too. I have just a couple tidbits of information about some things that came out in this week's crop and pest report, and a question that came in to Rich Zollinger. And a producer is wondering if there's any confirmed resistance to lamb quarters to ALS herbicides in North Dakota. This farmer sprayed a field of conventional soybeans with Harmony SG and AMS at 2.5 pounds an acre and the MSO at 2 pints on the 15th of July at 20 gallons per acre. Our scouts looked at the field on the 25th and 26th of July and didn't see any lamb's quarter dying. And Rich's answer is, as shown on page 96 in the weed guide, there is no confirmed case of ALS resistance to lamb quarters. Realize that small grain rate of the Harmony SG, and the rate is what was used by this farmer, recommended on soybean, might not be the same as what was needed. Also on page 114 of the weed control guide, we show excellent control of Harmony SG at that rate. He's suspecting that if the lamb's quarter was taller than 2 to 3 inches, there would not be enough Harmony SG to control and kill the plants. And so there is no confirmed information about Harmony SG being having some resistance to lamb's quarter. I'd like to remind all sunflower growers out there that they should be scouting and continue to scout for red sunflower seed weevils, banded sunflower moths, and sunflowers until the fields reach the R5.7 crop stage, and that's when 70% of the head area has completed or is flowering. Field reports indicate that populations of red sunflower seed weevil are above the economic threshold levels of 4 to 6 weevils per head for oilseed sunflowers, and the economic threshold for confection sunflowers is 1 weevil per head for the confections. In southwest North Dakota and central South Dakota, up to 50 weevils per head have been observed in some hot spots. Banded sunflower moth is also high in the north central and northwest parts of North Dakota. And so please make sure that you're watching for that in your sunflower fields as well. Let's see here. We have about 4 minutes. And so according to NDON, in the south central part of the state, the region's rainfall during July ranged from 2.9 inches up to 7.2 inches in Streeter, so that's quite a bit. Farmers would welcome sunshine and dry weather in that area of the state. Here in southwest North Dakota, the crop reporting is saying that between July 26th and August 2nd, there has been some rainfall in the region. According to NDON at Dickinson, they received 0.77 of an inch. Bowman received 97 hundredths. Hettinger continues to be drier than the rest of the region with 22 hundredths of an inch of rain over the past week. Winter wheat harvest continues, and most of that is also pretty much complete. There is some spring wheat. There will be some producers finishing up with their spring wheat harvest. We had the rain shower last night, and so that is going to delay harvest for a bit. And so we want to be watching for that as well. Once again, we'll remind you that the cover crop workshops on August 18th, and August 18th in Dickinson, and August 19th in Streeter, and also about the the North Dakota Range Management School that'll be held at the North Dakota 4-H camp August 30th through September 1st. If you're interested in that, please feel free to call our office. Just another note is that we're getting some calls in the office about some lawn diseases, and brown patch is one of those. Brown patch is a common patch disease that affects several cool seasons grasses in North Dakota, primarily tall fescue, although Kentucky bluegrass can get it as well. Symptoms can appear quickly in warm, humid weather, which we've had a lot of lately, and primarily when nighttime temperatures exceed 70 degrees Fahrenheit with heavy dew formation. And so if you're interested in that, we have more information to that. You can apply a fungicide. We would suggest that you not make any more applications of fertilizer at this time until we get some cooler temperatures. And then also cut down on the watering a bit so that you will not have this problem with the humid pieces and too much water on the lawn that really a lot of diseases, they really thrive on that. And Jim is giving us the cue that we need to close for the Extension Connection. And so the Morton County staff will be back with you in 2 weeks with the Extension Connection. And everybody have a great day.